So, all we wanted to do was take one game on the road in Washington. And the Raptors can't do that. We now come back home for Game 5, split series 2-2. And once again, the story in this one, turnovers. Now everyone's going to say the referees were awful, and, you know, I get that. They're atrocious. All right, we've learned to know that, and people can argue about hating Toronto and hating Canada all they want. But in the end, 18 turnovers is unacceptable. We talked about it in the last game. The same thing. But this team, I don't know if they didn't learn from it or they're just making the same stupid mistakes, but they lose 106-98 to the Washington Wizards on the road. There's lots of things we can throw out here. First things first, the game started off great. Raptors at one point had a 13-4 lead early in the ball game, and you had a 30-22 lead after the first. You score 30. The offense is going pretty well. You only give up 22. Okay. You know, the defense is playing all right. Second quarter, you only score 21, but you only give up 18. The Raptors only gave up 40 points the entire first half, and they were up by 11 points at the end of the first half. Things are going great, and at one point, you know, once that halftime, buzzer happened, the Wizards only made 1 3 the entire first half. But what happens in the second half? Right out of the gate, they fire 3 straight three-pointers, and they're right back in the game. And from that point on, it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until the last little bit. You know, you look at the third quarter, however, the Raptors give up 40. That is unacceptable in a playoff game. You give up 40 in the first half alone, and you give up 40 in the third quarter. Ridiculous. It's sad. Seeing how inconsistent from one quarter to the next, one half to the next. We don't know what we're going to see from this team. They score 29, which is great. Problem, you're tied at the end of the third quarter after being up 11 at the half. And you go to the fourth quarter, they've got all the momentum, but we're still back and forth for most of the fourth quarter. Bradley Beal fouls out late, and we're like, this team can do it. No. Since when Bradley Beal goes off to the court, the Raptors were -8 down the stretch. And like I said, they lost by 8. They lost Bradley Beal, guys. And he was their top scorer at 31. Wall had 27 points, 14 assists as well. But Bradley Beal was the big guy, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't have been fouled out. The calls were awful." Yeah, you also see the flop on Kelly Oubre that they call a foul. So let's not even get into that kind of stuff. The Raptors were, the referees were bad. Both sides. They were atrocious. But they always are, so that's why we're not going to complain about it. The inability to take care of the basketball is sad. You know, they had 13 turnovers. The Raptors had 18. We're the #1 seed here, guys. They're not playing like it. And you look at down the stretch, what type of shots was this team getting? Well, DeMar, a lot of ISO there late in the game. And we've seen over the course of the last few seasons, that does not work. And he ended with 35 points. That's great. But he only shot 10 of 29 for 34%. DeMar took 29 shots. But he did get to the free throw line 18 times. It was 14 of 18, but he was a -12 while he was on the floor. And I'm going to throw out a name out there, guys, I'm shocked why he didn't play so much. Jonas Valanciunas, only 15 minutes played. I understand he was a -5 on the floor, and but he did, in that 15 minutes, 11 points, 3 boards on 4 of 6 shooting and 3 of 3 from the line, and he doesn't touch the court for the rest of the game. We don't see him in the fourth. Now, I get matchups, and I get that whole spiel, but was it working for you, as Dr. Phil says? Well, clearly it wasn't for the Raptors, and they don't change it. Now, if we're trying to find positives, great to see Jakob Poeltl get into double figures, but he fouls out late in the game, so there you go, he's gone. Lowry had 19 on 46% shooting and 4 of 6 from 3, but minus 10 on the floor. And the second game in a row, Serge Ibaka was great in the first two, but he was terrible. In today's game, he didn't take enough shots. 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from 3. And it's not like he was giving you terrific defense. Minus 11 on the floor. Did have a couple blocks, a steal. But the problem, 4 turnovers for Serge Ibaka, 4 for DeRozan. And guys, we talk about the 18 turnovers, right? And that being a huge number. Ibaka had 4. JV with 3. Lowry with 2. DeRozan with 4. Let's do the math. That's 8, 10, 15 of the 18 turnovers were in your starting lineup. Unacceptable. I don't care if DeMar fires up 35. Doesn't mean squat when you're turning the ball over like they were. Like I said, a tale of 2 games, really. The first 2 games of the playoffs, CJ Miles red hot in double figures in both games. You know, he plays terrific in those games. But then the last game against Washington, 9 points, 2 of 7, 1 of 5 from 3, and a minus 22 on the floor. Awful. Today, in 21 minutes, he gets 2 measly points, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, and only a +1 on the floor. He's been ghost. He's been nowhere to be found. And who shows? I mean, I understand they're playing at home. I understand the Raptors are coming home, so they'll probably play a different. They'll probably do different things, and we're gonna see different Raptors. We're gonna see a different team when they come back home for game 5. But this shouldn't be happening. And people are gonna say, well, you know, the Wizards, they, you know, they're a good team, and everyone's saying the Raptors are gonna kick their rear end. You know, they're obviously wrong. The Raptors are doing it to themselves here, people. Now, the Wizards are a good team. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They're a solid team. They should not be number 8 in the Eastern Conference, but they did. However, the Raptors won 59 games. There's no question about that. And you come in and you win the first 2 games. All right, that's exactly what you had to do. You want at least 1 win on the road. No, you have high turnover games, 18 turnovers like we said in today's game. And they have, 18 in the last game. This team, at one point in the season, averaged like 12. And then in back-to-back playoff games, you average 18? That's ridiculous, guys. This team, and it's not like they're forcing mistakes. It's just, you know, it rushes up the court and the players just fire it out of bounds. I mean, they're careless turnovers. They're uncontested turnovers. And those are the things that hurt you. Dead ball turnovers are the better, I guess, of the 2. But really, take care of the ball. That's something we're all going to look into in the next game at home, is can they keep that turnover number down? I don't care what the offense looks like. I don't care what the defense looks like. I mean, obviously I do, of course, but the main concern is the stupid turnovers when the Raptors get on a nice little roll here. Fire the ball out of bounds, they get the ball, and then they go on their run. It's momentum killers. And look, we talked about it early in the year about this team not being able to play down the stretch and looking really bad. They went back to their old roots today. ISO ball for DeMar, it didn't work. And he even said in his post-game interview, took a lot of shots late, took a lot of tough, bad shots late. Well, that's great for saying it, bud, but let's see it. Let's see it change, man. And why do you keep going to, if you know you're taking bad shots and tough shots, move the ball. I mean, my goodness, you know, the team didn't even crack 20 assists, tells you right there, only 19 for the team. Rebounding, we were +1, offensive boards were even. But the Raptors, again, you talk about the last year, the magic number of, 3-pointers in a game. It's usually 10. They had 7 in this one. Free throw percentage, 23 of 30, 77%. And Washington did get a ton of free throws there late in the game. But the Raptors as a team shot 43% from the field. Not good enough at all. And, like I said, the fourth quarter, you score 18 points. Crunch time. They can't do it. We talked about it in the first 2 games. Whether you're a Wizards fan or a Raptor fan, you guys would have seen it in my first 2 videos. It's not what you do, not the big run you make at a certain point. I apologize for that. Look at that. Wow, that is the first time I've ever done that. Give you a little blurry vision there. You didn't go blind. That's just me getting a little too aggressive. We talked about it in the first two games about it's not making the big run at any point in the game. It's when you make the run. And the Raptors made their big run in the first half. They had an 11-point lead at the half. But the Wizards, they made their run count. And that was late in the game. And they got the victory. This team has to play a full 48 in the next game. I don't care if we're at home and everyone's guaranteeing a victory. Don't. They've got the momentum. We got to take care of the ball, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy this video. And you guys are biting your nails right now. Hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys think of the game. Where did the Raptors go wrong in your eyes? Any big turning point in the game you guys want to point out? Let me know in the comments below. Have a great discussion about that. And we'll talk to you guys Tuesday night, podcast edition. Link is down in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. And Twitter is also down there, guys. Go give that a follow. And we'll talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night. It'll be a little bit later. I got last indoor baseball practice before my regular season gets underway. So that'll be uploaded a little bit later. Earlier than today, though. Don't you guys worry about that one. But the Leafs look to fend off the Bruins and force a Game 7. They're at the Air Canada Center. 7 o'clock puck drop at the ACC. We'll talk to you guys Blue Jays edition very shortly as they lost the finale to the New York Yankees. And the offense once again shriveled up. And Jaime Garcia kind of roughed up in his outing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And we'll talk to you guys Raptors edition, like we've said, Wednesday. All right? So the Raptors get Monday and Tuesday off. And then Wednesday, tip-off at the Air Canada Center. 7 o'clock tip-off as the Raps look to, one, get back in the win column and push them to the brink of elimination. Because this is nuts. And you're back at home, the best home team, well, tied with the Houston Rockets for the best home record in the NBA. You won your first 2 games at home. Let's win our 3rd at home because I don't want to come back. I don't want to go to Washington having in a desperate situation. We all don't want that. We'll find out what happens though. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock at the ACC. We'll talk to you guys then.